This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Jordan Firstman about English teacher. How are you, Jordan?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to talk to you, but I'm also trying to figure out if we're supposed to like Malcolm or if he's sort of the villain of the whole show.
It's so funny like that's not you're not the only person to think that, but going into the show I was like I got to play my first likable character. Like to me he's like the nicest character I've ever played and like least chaotic. And I was struggling at the beginning. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm playing like a normal guy." And then and then when it came out, people were like, Malcolm's so chaotic. I'm like, oh girl, if you think this is chaotic, don't watch any of my other work.
Well, I guess we're also
But
like
yeah,
it depends.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I don't personally see him as I definitely don't see him as a villain. I think it's like, he just loves Evan and wants him. And I think he knows that Evan wants him to. Maybe there's like a little bit of a pushing a certain narrative onto their relationship, but I think he does it in a playful way.
I think it also depends on how we're supposed to think about Evan too, because Evan, like,
Yeah.
it's not as if Evan is so close to having a relationship with Harry because he did everything right and like whatever. It's not like
Right.
Malcolm comes in to screw that up. It's that he's taken so long to do anything positive, and then Malcolm's back, and that's a nice thing. But it definitely does leave season one off on an interesting note because it seems like we're back to where we started, which for Malcolm is a great thing. I don't know how it is for Evan.
Yeah. I mean, I think Evan often chooses the path of most resistance. And I think Malcolm is, in a way a safer choice, even though, he brings a lot of dynamics into the relationship and a lot of his own stuff. But, I think Evan likes, I think, hardship and he likes to like overcome obstacles. And maybe he sets up over obstacles for himself so he can overcome it because he likes that. And I think like with Malcolm, it's also funny. I'm like, we wrapped season two a couple weeks ago, so I'm like, what happened in season one? So I'm definitely in season two mindset, but I don't know. I think it's also like it's that choice that I think most adult couples have to make is that like, do I stay with the person that I know really well and I know that I'm comfortable with? I think at the end of the day, Malcolm and Evan have a lot of history together and they feel extremely comfortable with each other, but like, does that make them better as friends? Which I think a lot of relationships turn into after whatever, like 5 years. You're like, wait, am I just with my friend and forcing myself to have sex with them because that's what we're supposed to do? Or is this like what companionship is? Like it is just like having a best friend.
What was your path like to what you would describe as the least chaotic role of your career?
I don't know. I mean, it's I feel like I know him a lot better now than I did in the first season. Like, you're doing any show and you haven't seen it yet. So you're like, I don't know really like what the tone is. Also, I'm never around the rest of the cast. Like I basically only have scenes with Evan. And so I think this really worked in the show, but like I do think there is a different tone when we have our scenes together that feels like maybe a little more grounded and like less heightened. Um but I didn't know that the other cast was like being a little more like arch in some ways in an amazing way. So I kind of just did what I felt was real in the scene. Sometimes I'm like, wait, am I being funny or am I being too real? Like, it's hard to understand tone. I call it like, I'm doing this other show now that has a similar like it's played really real, but there are jokes, and I always ask like, should I lift it? Like that's the term I use is like, how real do you want it, or do you want that? It's that little like 10% lift when you're doing comedy. Um, and so I don't know. I kind of just I had to trust that the situations were funny and the dialogue is funny and just play it as real as possible. But I had no idea until the show came out like what it was.
Who would you like to work with most from the cast if somehow they let you?
I mean, I keep pitching that I want to be because I started as a Malcolm started as a teacher, a dance teacher, no less. And I keep pitching that I want to come back because I all of them, they're all fucking geniuses. Like obviously Stephanie is a dream. And like we get a little bit of our dynamic. I think Carmen Christopher is amazing. Um yeah, I like this season. I think I kiss every character. None of it's scripted. But I just make every character like anytime I have a scene with them, I just make them kiss me in some way, usually on the cheek. But yeah, I like all of them as characters. They're all just so lovable. So I want like I would love more with all of them.
What is the
And
response?
Ivy Wolk as well.
Well, obviously, some of the show surprised you since you're not in a lot of it. What do you think the response has been like, and is that what you expected from audiences?
I mean, it's just it's always nice when people like something, right? Um, especially in our current climate where it's everyone just seems to like shit on everything, especially on online. Like it was just nice that it was connecting with, people of all different levels. Like I really like I think the industry loved the show, which was nice. Like I feel like you usually get like America liking it or the industry liking it. And I feel like this Brian did like such a great job of balancing, like a familiar subject with sometimes familiar tropes that audience can feel comfortable with, but like having a really sharp edge, which I think like, the bubbles like. Um and then it had the gay people actually liked something for once, which was cool. Which rarely happens. I think when we got the no loads refuse cum dump joke in there, I think I sensed a shift um on Twitter and stuff at least. But yeah, it obviously feels good for people to like understand something and like it. But I was even like, I don't know, I felt like an audience member watching it. I was like, oh my God, because I hate everything too. And I was like, wow, this is like a really good show. This is really funny.
Talking about things that are slightly heightened, I know that you did a lot of writing in the past for Search Party, and that show to me is so singular and weird and confusing and fantastic in so many different things. And I'm curious how much, you think back to that show over the course of your career.
Yeah, I mean, it was so specific and that, it was another show that was like a constant conversation of like how big do you take it? And yeah, I think I learned a lot writing on that in just like my future writing projects and acting projects about like, you know, to kind of always keep the performance grounded no matter what crazy shit is happening. Um but yeah, it was a singular show, and just like it taught me a lot about how to write story too, because there's so much fucking story in that show.
Well, you mentioned a show you're working on right now. Would that be the one with Rachel Sennett by any chance?
It is. Yeah, we're
The
like 3 weeks into production now.
the way that you're describing this, like heightened but still ground, like that is exactly how I would think of her. That she's always like so much larger than life, but so like with it, especially in the film I Used to Be Funny, which I really thought was excellent and great to see her there. What is it like getting to work with her so closely?
I mean, it's a dream. It's like she's my best friend and has been for like many years, and I've known her for almost a decade now. And so, I mean, I was already just like so happy to see her success. Like that was already so exciting. And then, I did not expect like when she told me about the show, I was like, great, oh my God, I can't wait to support that. And then, she sent me the script and I didn't say like the part is yours, but I was like, wait, I've said a lot of these lines. And so it was like, I don't know, it's just from the second we started, it's been a dream. And I feel like, it's nice for both of us going into this new venture in our lives to have each other there every day and like to lean on each other. But I mean, the show is insanely fun. It's like, yeah, we're shooting basically in my neighborhood. I walked to work the other day, which I've never done in my life. So yeah, it's really been a dream.
And you're also working on your first film.
I am. Yeah, I'm like in light pre-production during while I shoot this and then like I start pre-production like the week after basically.
What can you preview about it?
Um I don't we even haven't even really talked about what I can if like what we're when people are like I don't know what I can say. I guess when you're doing it with a network you really can't say anything. Like I could tell you every line of the movie right now if I wanted to. But I'm like I'll say it's along the lines of English teacher. It plays on a familiar trope, a father like a traditional father-son movie, a la like Kramer versus Kramer, Big Daddy even. But has a slightly darker, more current edge to it. And I'm doing that with Alex Coco, who produced Sonora, as my main producer. So we're kind of like similar model of filmmaking, like where it's shoots in New York, down and dirty, like gonna be stealing some shots for sure. But it's a script that's really personal to me, and like I've been working on it for a couple years now, and yeah, I love it. Want people to laugh and cry, that vibe.
I always like to end with the same question, and because you said you hate everything, I'm not sure what you'll have for me, but what have you seen recently on TV that you've really liked and has stuck with you?
Um, okay. Okay. I'm rewatching because I it's so underrated and it really slipped by. Maybe it was like a year or two ago, but Irma Vep on HBO is so good. I'm like halfway through rewatching. Alicia Vikander also so supremely underrated. She's like so weird and nuanced and good at like you just never know what choice she's gonna make. I'm loving that. I think this season of Hacks is killing it. I love that last episode. Meg Stalter needs her Emmy. Paul Downs too. I think they really like they that last episode with them like maybe boofing the dance mom, Julianne Nicholson. That was sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I'm loving Hacks. I relatively liked the studio. I liked it enough. But yeah, yeah, Hacks is really good this. Oh, and the rehearsal obviously is like he's an evil genius and you just never know what's coming on that show. Yeah, I'm liking some stuff right now.
Well, it's not TV, but I will ask you since you're an Alicia fan, have you seen the film The Assessment yet?
I haven't.
That is like peak her. She is incredible. Definitely worth catching. I know
Okay.
it was at festivals. I think it had a release, but you'll seek it out. I'm sure you'll be pleased.
Okay, I definitely will.
Well, I'm glad to hear you have so much great stuff in the works. Looking forward to English Teacher Season 2, The Rachel Show, your film, everything. I wish you plenty of luck.
Thank you so much. Great to talk.